In what way do the immortals of Highlander benefit from beheading other immortals? This may well be the most hotly debated issue in all of Highlander, and not only is there one answer, but at least two, and I firmly believe that fan favourite character Methos is the key to reaching a satisfying conclusion on this subject.
Old timer, you got any words of wisdom for me?
Nope.
We're about to go on a crazy journey that'll involve addressing many different elements of the franchise, including that infamous database from Highlander Endgame.
McLeod, Connor.
What's that? The Watcher's version of a resume.
262 confirmed immortal kills.
My name is David McMurdo, and welcome to Highlander Lore. We learn the deepest Highlander lore from a Highlander. I'm not going to go over how the producers changed the nature of the Quickening again, but it is highly relevant to the issue at hand, so you might want to watch my previous two videos on the subject before watching this one. Now, several of you have pointed out that the change seems pointless, and you're right. If they wanted to keep things simple for the benefit of the TV show, they could have just not focused on the more mystical aspects of the Quickening. But it's even worse than pointless. I previously showed you the ways that the producers went back to change the first two Highlander movies to try and make them consistent with their new understanding of the Quickening.
The ancient power of the Quickening has joined us. We are now as one. We are now as one.
But here's the thing. You can remove all references to the Quickening, but at the end of the day, this magical stuff is still happening. So, if it isn't the power of the Quickening, what is it? This is one of the many problems caused by redefining the Quickening. The question of how immortals benefit from absorbing the power from other immortals is another. In the original conception, it's very simple. The answer is, in a word, awareness. Connor knew what Brenda was hiding in her apartment because he had become powerful enough to do so. This also made sense of why the buzz is innate to immortals. After all, what is the buzz? It's awareness. It's just awareness of a particular element. And when the reward for beheading another immortal is increased awareness, the prize being total psychic dominance completely fits.
It's like a whirlwind in my head. But if I concentrate, I know what people are thinking all over the world.
What I also like about this is that it keeps the immortals as human as possible. They don't end up with super strength, super speed, or anything like that. I think Highlander works best when the immortals are presented as human in every way except that they're immortal. It's in the later mythology that things get really messy, and the one seemingly clear answer we were given was actually no answer at all.
I know, and at that point I'm very, very dead. Come on!
Not just dead, Duncan. Empty!
Aye, Connor, I know. It's called the Quickening. As strength or knowledge or life essence flows into the victor, feeds him and makes him stronger.
Okay, so let's break that down.
As strength...
Well, it's clearly not physical strength, so this is strength in the abstract sense, which doesn't help.
Knowledge.
It's definitely not knowledge in the concrete sense. That would mean that if you and I were immortals and I beheaded you, I'd obtain your entire knowledge base, including the details of your personal life. I'd learn, for example, that you sneak down to the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning and stand in the cold light of the fridge eating cheese. This never happens in the series or the later movies. And can you imagine how complicated the plots would get if it did? At most, immortals might acquire habits that they didn't have previously.
Life essence.
I don't know about you guys, but the term life essence to me is synonymous with saying soul. You know, your doctor would never say something like, your life essence is waning, unless they were a witch doctor, I suppose. And the idea that immortals are absorbing one another's souls is something that Duncan's friend Alec Hill once brought up.
They all speak about one thing, the transmigration of the soul. But when we take another immortal's head, what do you think we get?
Immortals have certainly reacted to Quickenings as if they were the dead immortals themselves, like when Warren Cochran lashed out and beheaded his student.
No, get off me, no, leave me alone.
Or when Duncan did away with poor, rowdy Roddy Piper. Highlander Endgame later confirms that the immortals do indeed absorb one another's souls.
That's your true fear, isn't it? The thought of giving up your essence to me, making me even stronger by it.
A valiant effort, Duncan. Too bad. And this is just the beginning. You see, when you absorbed Connor's spirit, You inherited his curse.
And of course, how could Connor manifest through Duncan unless he was now living inside him?
What's the matter? Don't you want to be inside me?
The whole concept is pretty dark when you think about it, but it doesn't help us understand how quickenings benefit immortals.
As strength and knowledge and life essence flows into the victor, feeds him and makes him stronger.
This is why I said that this answer is really no answer at all. And I think it's deliberately vague because the writers really couldn't think of a concrete solution that made sense. But then Highlander Endgame makes things more confusing by introducing this Watcher's database in which they keep track of the kill counts of each immortal.
McLeod, Duncan, 174 confirmed immortal kills. 174 confirmed immortal kills.
Sound about right? So what's your point?
As I've pointed out before, there are 119 episodes of the TV series and Duncan kills at least 100 immortals in the show. If his total kill count is 174, that means that even though he's 400 years old, he killed well over 50% of that number from the years 1992 to 1998, which is pretty crazy.
Just tell me why. The teacher kills the pupil? Is that what this is all about? Is it because there can be only one? Is that it?
That's as good a reason as any.
What this also means is that these numbers are literally just how many other immortals these characters have beheaded, and doesn't take into account how powerful each of those opponents was. So we're meant to believe that an immortal would benefit from beheading a new immortal like Michelle Webster just as much as they would an ancient immortal like Darius.
I would not rob you of that hope.
But this was never the case in the show. For example, the reason that Methos lives such a secretive life is precisely because, being so ancient, his head was seen as especially desirable to other immortals. In the Season 5 episode The Messenger, there's another immortal that pretends to be Methos.
Methos, I presume.
So they tell me.
And the real Methos is more than happy with this.
This guy's a fraud.
Look. There are enough people out there who want my head for who I am. Now, I say, if he wants to play Methos, let him.
Even if it gets him killed?
Yeah.
So, as much as I love Highlander Endgame, not only did it not provide any concrete answers on these issues, it actually made things way more confusing. And this is why the question of how immortals benefit from quickenings remains among the most hotly debated topics among Highlander fans. But I have my own answer, and I'm going to make my case for it. Before that, please like the video, click the bell icon for notifications, and subscribe to help the channel. I've now seeded every playlist I intended to make, so now I can choose the subjects I address in a more free-form fashion. I also created a playlist that does and will continue to contain every video I've ever made, and it plays them in the order that I uploaded them. The link to that is in the description box. Regardless, thank you for watching. So what does the word quickening actually mean? Well, it's an old term that can refer to a pregnant woman experiencing the first signs of her baby's life in the womb, and it can mean to literally quicken, as in, go faster. But you know what else it can mean when you describe someone as having been quickened? It can mean that they've been inspired or enlivened. Take Highlander Lore itself. I've talked about how I began it after emerging from a dark period in my life, during which time it was a struggle just to get through each day. I certainly wasn't in a place where I had the will to take on an endeavour like this channel. But when I emerged from that period, I knew I could because I was inspired, I was enlivened, I was, in a word, quickened. I literally experienced a quickening as we all do at different times in our lives. And this is where Methos comes in. What do we know about Methos? Well, we know that he's the oldest known immortal, being at least 5,000 years old.
5,000 years.
Yeah, give or take. And that was when I took my first head. But before that, it all starts to blur.
I guess it would.
We know that, having had such a long history, he's changed a lot.
I have been many things, MacLeod.
No, you know.
We know that one can never be certain of his abilities, especially since his apparent passivity can so easily be mistaken for weakness.
Just because I don't like to fight doesn't mean that I can't.
But we also know that at the time he first met Duncan, he was in no position to fight Callus, who was hunting him. And I think his explanation as to why is the key to resolving the immortal issue at hand.
He can't beat both of us.
If it's that simple, why don't you take my head?
Because it's not just a matter of who is the best fighter. It is about passion and hate. I don't have the fire. You do.
So here we have Methos saying that he just doesn't have the will or the fire that Duncan has, and it's in this very same episode that he makes clear that he hasn't even had a fight for centuries.
When was the last time you faced anyone?
What are we? 6th of March, 200 years.
Oh, that's good.
As established earlier, it's the exact opposite case with Duncan, who never took more heads than he did during this period. So we can directly tie how much quote-unquote fire Duncan has, and Methos doesn't, to the fact that Duncan was highly active taking heads, and Methos was not. In other words, Duncan was literally quickened, i.e. enlivened, and Methos was not. The idea that Quickenings get the immortals hyped up makes sense of not only that non-answer we got from Duncan, but also what Connor says afterwards.
It's what drives the other immortals to kill us, and what forces us to be smarter, better than the rest.
If absorbing Quickenings, which is to say, souls, causes immortals to feel ever more driven in life, then it makes complete sense that evil immortals would be compelled to constantly seek that experience. It would be like constantly seeking a high. It also explains why there are so many maniacs with swords in the Highlander franchise. They're the immortal equivalent of someone being out of their mind on drugs, desperately seeking their next hit.
I've taken a lot of trouble finding you. You ought to be flattered.
You ought to be dead.
I've hunted and killed just about every creature that has walked the earth.
Sure you have.
But it's nothing compared to the kill of a seasoned immortal. Let's get on with it. Shall we?
So in conclusion, when one immortal beheads another, they literally absorb that immortal's soul, and this results in two things. One is that, since they are absorbing the life essence of another, they are being quickened in the literal sense of becoming more fired up and willful. They are more full of vitality, they are more full of, literally, life. And the second is that, because they now have that immortal soul inside of them, it's possible they may exhibit behaviours that immortal did in life, or something even more dramatic.
Leave me alone!
Why is that, Booty?
Let go of me!
You hit hard, huh? Not as hard as I did.
What the hell are you doing?
The bitch hit me, man.
Hey, what are you, nuts?
Touch me.
To me, this is the perfect answer to the question of how an immortal benefits from beheading another. It's the perfect answer because, firstly, it enables the immortals to benefit from quickenings without them gaining superhuman abilities, and secondly because it fits with everything that the Highlander TV series and the later movies tell us, including phenomenon like light and dark quickenings, and that database from Endgame. Anyway, I try to make clear whether I'm just sharing established facts, or if I'm merely giving my opinion. What I'm giving you here is my own theory, because we've never been given a concrete answer that makes sense. That's why this video is going in my Highlander Mysteries playlist. This is my own attempt to make sense of Highlander lore as it's presented to us. And trying to make sense of Highlander is something that all Highlander fans are veterans at, because you really have to be. So let me know what you think about how immortals benefit from power transfers, and remember, in the end, there can be only one.